so I'm not in much better shape than you
Oh, wow.
today. But I have a much worse excuse.
Yeah, I mean, getting a tattoo was fun. But I didn't get the tattoo, but
That's
it was
fun.
cool to watch the wife. She is a.
Do you have any? Do you have any tattoos?
I have a few. I've got like
That's
one
fun.
on my, the typical one on my chest over my heart, and then I've got one on the side of my index finger on my right hand.
Uh,
That's like the whole length of my finger all the way to my thumb knuckle.
yeah.
Let me
I
see if
have
the
I have
stream's
two.
working
I
today.
got.
There we go. Say hello to
I have.
YouTube.
Hey YouTube.
Talking about tattoos today.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Jeremy,
Yeah.
you mentioned something earlier about seeing a diamond pattern in that in the pre-market. Um, is that something that you're drawn out, or you just kind of visualized it and just automatically see it?
Kind of visualizing it, and I'm looking for this right here, actually. And once I've seen it play the one side, it's like you can kind of set up for watching for the other side. And it's just anytime you see any kind of range expansion like that, draw it out. It's not the cleanest looking diamond by any means, but it's still relevant for range expansion. And if it's going to pull back here, you can certainly get the other side of this, kind of guesstimate the angles on it. It may be a long, lazy one. See if that'll play. There we go. It kind of looked like that. We'll see what happens with it, but this part of it was the compression side. It was pretty obvious.
So we just tapped. We're just tapping off the top of the wedge that basically tapping off into the wedge at the top of the wedge that Bob was talking about earlier. Now, right?
Yeah,
On
pretty
the
much.
Nasdaq. Sorry, that's not on.
Oh, you're talking about
That's
like,
not on.
yeah, the other index.
Yeah.
The other index we
Yeah.
trade
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yep.
I might be able
But
to
how did that
adjust
wedge
this
work
to
out
be
on?
a.
Yes.
There we go, a little steeper.
Oh, we're tapping into the top of the ES also. It's the same thing. It's
It's
just that
kind
the
of,
wedge looks different.
kind of a lazy diamond, but yeah, it's expansion. We'll see what plays out of it. Ooh, some of the banks are just getting brutalized.
Really? What's it? What's
Oh, here's Truist getting popped back down to the close, below the close of yesterday.
this on a 30-second?
I might see what that does for a long-term play. And I wonder what JPM's doing right, or not JPM. Yeah, JPM. Sorry.
It's Fargo.
Yeah, we
You
could
can
be
check it out
setting up
otherwise. You
one
got 'em.
heck of a bullish measured move here. Let's get the boxes on it. Boop.
The whole financial sector is coming down a little bit. What does it look like? The utilities fell off a cliff. Interesting thing, if you look at the sectors today, is that it's like a perfect mirror. As well as much as financials popped, utilities fell off a cliff,
Right.
and like a perfect mirror image of each other. And then tech is slowly trying to yeah, go positive now, climbing. Looks like an
Yeah,
indecision moment.
it's always on opening range. You're always going to have that volatility until you figure out what the opening range is going to break out to. You kind
Yeah.
of you can take profit from your overnight swings and stuff on this type of stuff, but once you are done with that, don't immediately jump right into another trade until you see a clean setup with a good break. This was a pretty nice little 1-for-1 right here done. Now we pulled back, tested the previous resistance as support. We're running possibly a 2-for-1 here. There's your half leg extension right there at about 414.30.
Heck is just ripping, huh?
Yeah, and we're right up against angular resistance here on the output side of that diamond. So if we get through this, it can nullify that diamond and just rip a face off and give us a good clean 1-for-1 outside of it. But watch here. If we're going to see something happen, it'll be real quick here on a 5-second chart. I'm going to tell you. Let's see here. I was able to lock in a really nice butterfly yesterday.
On what?
I had a SPY call debit spread. Yesterday at the open, I was able to buy back the short leg of that and then let it trend on up. And then towards the end of the day, I went and sold. I took a $2 wide, converted it to a $1 wide, sold the short leg to lock in a 50% return on overnighting that spread and then converting it out of a spread and then back into a spread. Technical stuff here, a lot of work. And then towards the end of the day, it kept giving us that push. Like I did that on the 1-for-1. It was pretty easy. And then it gave us the 2-for-1. I'm like, well, hell, it makes sense to sell a butterfly credit spread on this and lock it in. So I was able to lock in 50% on the conversion out and then back into a spread. And then I was able to add a butterfly spread on top of that, or a butterfly conversion on top of that, and lock in another 50%. So I'm guaranteed 100% win on that. Can't lose. And at the same time, I've got a shot at making a much bigger return on that, and it happens to sit at the 422 strike. So we'll see what happens with that. That's way out of the money, but pretty neat to be able to pull off that kind of a trade and take it to a negative risk.
Yeah.
But if you look at the 22 area, that kind of puts us at striking distance for a 1-for-1 out of here. 420
Which
would be
is
the
possible,
target.
actually.
Yeah. There was
I
something.
mean, that wouldn't even be unusual. That wouldn't even be so unusual, huh? Which is kind of funny.
Not so much, yeah. It'd be kind of a push. That's a whole number, and it's kind of a number that sticks in people's mind. It's a sticky number.
Yeah.
So, dang it, why can't I get that?
A sticky number. That's you made that up. I like it. You made it up.
Well, it's like if you ever read the book Turning Point, sometimes you plant the seed of an idea with a word or a phrase that sticks in your mind. That's the whole premise of advertising to begin with. And you get something that's sticky. So 420 is a sticky number because a lot of people...
Oh, I remember that. I've read that someplace before. No, that was a nice way to connect it.
So like a lot of people connect it to the whole weed thing, and how that all goes. But it's a sticky number, and it's also a nice solid number that SPY can go to.
Yeah.
We also have April 20th on the calendar next week, so I mean it's like
You're a good way out.
at 420.
You get the time for it. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Of course. I'm slow today again. This is one of those multiple slow days in a row, but working.
There we go. JPM is starting to look like a 1-for-1. Very nice. And TFC's coming off the floor too. I'm looking to possibly take a swing trade on TFC. They basically are taking apart a good chunk of their investment banking side of things. They popped a news article yesterday saying they're basically going to stop trading derivatives, stop selling mortgage-backed securities. And you got to realize that their mortgage-backed securities that they have outstanding, if they were to try and close them now, they'd take a loss on it because they sold these at like 2.2% average interest for mortgages, and they sold a ton of them, and then they sold the swaps on those. So no one's going to buy those back at where they're at now. And if they were to buy them back to cover, they would be taking a loss on it. So it's a 10-year ride for very low yield. It's not worth doing. It's not worth trading that anymore. So now they've got to either restructure their investment banking side to go after something that's a little bit more fruitful, or start finding ways to seek some depositors to be able to sell some more loans. So they're at a spot where they've made the right decision, as far as I'm concerned. It looks bearish on the outside to the average investor. They're like, oh man, they're cutting things apart, they're going to lose their ass. Well, the chart tells me this measured move has already been made on the weekly. It's looking like, here's your lockdown pullback. Damn close to it on that drop there, right? $29. Measured move's done. Now we're accumulating. We can bounce here. We may bounce here. There's targets inlaid. They're pretty easy to see. So if it bounces here, cool. If not, we get a 2-for-1. That takes them down, right down to the lockdown low. So if people are convinced that this is going to be a losing company, oftentimes institutional investors will be the ones to buy it. So that's what I'm looking for, is I want to see if I can ride some coattails on the institutions taking this thing over and dip buying it. So I'm going to watch it. All right.
But if they were going to dip by it, they would. Oh, sorry, man.
Oh, go ahead. You're good.
If they were going to be accumulating, right? They wouldn't be accumulating. They would have been. I mean, this is like an accumulation zone is for them when it's like at a base, right?
Right.
I mean, they don't accumulate when something's gone up.
Yeah, they don't usually buy the top. So, I mean, you're looking at, you've got a 1-for-1 done here. You've got a setup for another 1-for-1 to 35 at least. As long as it continues to be bullish, it can certainly pull back first down to this 33.15 area. But looking at the channel here, this is a range, and it's been accumulating for quite a while. It's got the makings of a pretty good bounce to at least retrace. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the short-term swing trade. But if they make some really good decisions and start to put their heads together and be like, hey, let's stop trading swaps because they're not lucrative for us to do right now because we've got a position that needs time to unwind. It's a low yield. It's not great. But there's other things we can do with our money here. I almost think they're going to start going into a little bit more of the money market side of things. And if they're smart, they will start looking at trying to make a push for depositors to buy like annuities and stuff like that, or the stuff that is kind of seen as safer for risk investment from a bank. So like they're going to start pushing that, I think, and that's where I'm seeing some of their advertising. They're looking at like trying to attract people to CDs and some money market products in the short term right now anyway. So it makes sense. They're not a stupid bank. These guys are at least in control of the ship a little bit. They're not like Silicon Valley Bank where they're just making a bunch of really high risk loans.
It wasn't their loans though, right? They were taking treasury positions on long-term treasuries, which they thought there must have been some like 18-year-old running their financial division or something like this, who was probably like high on acid or something like this. I don't know. They had some bad planning there. But
it's bad planning all around.
Yeah.
Then their operating expenses were astronomical. I mean, they were just partying on every investor or every depositor's dime, dude.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. That says a lot about like it's a lot like managing a bank as if it was FTX. You know,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah.
You just don't do that.
No. Well, I mean, their depositors weren't exactly like, mom and pop. So, I
Right.
mean, it's kind of like I'm a little bit surprised that they're, what is it? The people who were,
I mean, you could say a lot of their holdings were venture capital type people. So I
yeah,
understand there's risk there. But
yeah,
when the bank is not making what I would call appropriate fiduciary decisions for their depositors, and they certainly weren't. Why is it the FDIC's job to ensure that?
yeah.
That's the problem. And then
Oh, 100%.
they went and wrote legislation to do exactly that, to make it so that they were extending the amount that would be covered by insurance and everything. I mean, just like, come on.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah, they
big,
changed laws for that. I mean, that was ridiculous. It was crazy.
it's a big stupid shell game, dude. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're all cut. CYA, they're in the pockets of many, many politicians, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have been rewriting of laws to accommodate this situation. So,
Yeah.
call,
Just to say it, this weakness that's coming up in SPY, it's also the ADD is showing some serious weakness right now also. So it's kind of confirming this pullback.
yeah. For now, our 1-for-1's done. We went right to
Yeah.
415. Now we're just kind of pulling back. So we could set up a 2-for-1 out of this, or we could pull back to the 50% retracement, which is about another dollar down, 414. Well, down to the next whole dollar.
I wouldn't want to short this right now, though.
No,
Man,
this
no.
could easily give us a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
And make that one stand out. It's orange now. There you go. All right. So I've got, just in case, I've got a put spread on that as well, just to hang out. But it's stupid cheap. It's like 2 cents. It was my cost basis was 2 cents on a $2 wide, which is incredible. But it's right at 400.
How'd you get that done?
I was able to pick it off at the top of the day yesterday.
Oh, nice. Oh, that was that was the plate you were talking. Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. Nicely done, man.
Just a matter of adjusting and then also covering. So like I like having that locked in, can't lose, 100% return. At the same time, if I can play the downside and convert it to the same strategy on the downside, why the hell not?
Yeah.
And then if it loses altogether, it's such a cheap risk. It's like just let it go.
Yeah. What I was a little bit curious though. Like when you trade options on SPY, aren't the options quite expensive on SPY to trade? Like in
That's-
comparison to,
Yeah, they are ridiculously
anything else.
expensive compared to everything else. The reason and way I do it though is with the spreads, and the spreads. You got to remember when you have a spread, you have a short leg that's working with you, because the time decay is the biggest factor on SPY. It's ridiculous amounts of time decay in that thing. The theta is like in some cases it's like almost 10 times what the theta is on an average equity option. So
Oh, insane.
when you trade a spread instead, you can still trade on the price action without having to worry about so much of that time decay, because the two strikes, if they're close enough together, between $1 and $2 apart, they'll pretty much balance each other for time decay. So as long as you're not trading it up to the last day, you usually do pretty well with it.
So you're always trading SPY with a spread?
Yep. I start with a
Anyway,
spread,
Okay.
and then
And then you leg them out and you sell legs as the day continues, kind of like as it develops, or what am I supposed to say?
depends on the situation. So like yesterday, I had a pretty nice opportunity because we opened and we dropped. So right on that quick drop, I was able to go and buy back the short leg on my call debit spread, and then I was able to ride this up realized, hey, we've got a pretty good chance at a 1-for-1. And then chilling in the tattoo shop by about 1 o'clock, I was like, well, I think it's time to go and piece this together, because I was looking at this price action here. It's like, that might break over there. I'm going to go ahead and sell a leg against my existing long leg, because it started with a $2 wide spread to the left here. I bought it a couple days ago. Was able to buy back the short leg for a penny yesterday, and then take it back on up, and then sell. Instead of selling the $2 wide, I sold a $1 wide. So I went to the next strike and sold that for twice what I paid for the long leg, and right in that move. And then I was expecting that to lose value again, and then be able to buy it back again this morning if this pulled back. So if it didn't break that key pivot here, I was expecting a pullback to go, and open it about the same open we had yesterday, today. So with that expectation, I was like, okay, I'm in position now where I've locked in a profit by selling that spread again, or selling the short leg on that spread again. Then towards the end of the day, I'm looking at it like, well, hell, I could capture the rest of that by selling a credit spread against my existing debit spread using the same short leg, and lock in even more. And then I don't have to care what happens tomorrow. So that played out. And then at that time, I was like, at the same time, I could also play a potential pullback to, go to the mean, which would be about 412. And with that expectation, I went ahead and grabbed a really cheap, $400 400 402 put debit spread. So in case this thing rolled over, I would be in a position where I can convert that. I can go buy the short leg back, whatever I needed to do. And here I'm in a position where I can buy the short leg back pretty damn cheap if I want, but it cost me 2 cents for the spread, so why should I care about that?
No, I get you. It's pretty good. It's really good, man. I don't understand. So Michigan sentiment just came out, and came out higher, 63.5, instead of the forecast 62.1, and we immediately saw that big.
Right.
That's right.
Came back and
So
damn
I
near
guess-
tapped that 414 and missed it by 9 cents.
Yeah.
Pretty typical. Pull back to the previous leg support. And we still got a chance at a 2-for-1, but now we at least have a chance at a 50%, which we just nailed. Back to 414.70, roughly. 414.62. 414.70 still on the radar. So right
Are
here.
we back into a world where
Boop.
good news is good news?
Maybe.
Yeah. Looks like it, man.
So there's your retracement target met right there with a wick. Bam. Oh, Busby. 3-leg play. Bam. Done. Next, we break or we break over. That's a pretty mean looking
Nice
tweezer
tweezer.
bottom. So I think we could get a 1-for-1 out of that whole trend. That would push us right through the top of that liquidity to 417. We'll wait and see. But I think there's a pretty strong chance of that with the way things are looking in the rest of the market. I'm going to split this box on JPM with a pivot. Right about 139.70-ish. It may run out of poop there. We'll wait and see. That's already a half leg up from the previous full leg, so maybe we get a full measured move, maybe we don't.
I mean, that's a pretty massive move on JP Morgan for one day.
Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't.
that's a lot of stinking money, man.
Yeah.
That's
What's
a
the volume on it
big
right now?
move. I haven't even looked yet. Let me see.
It's not that high, actually.
The pre-market
not
is
bad.
where. So when you have a big move, you got to remember pre-market. This is all trading with other traders. So absorption is going to happen when the market opens, and that's what we're seeing here. All this move, I mean, this is mostly retail trading with each other, pushing that price up, chasing the ask. And when you open, you get continuation. Some of the institutions were okay buying there, and now they're looking at maybe we can take profit real quick, day trade this a couple times, and then run it. So that's what we're seeing here is absorption. Oh no!
7% on the day, basically.
Are we getting a split top? Damn, we've been seeing a lot of these lately. They're kind of
How have they been
indecisive.
playing out?
Huh?
How have they been playing out? The split tops. I
So-
remember we were talking about the other day. I don't remember how they've been playing out recently, though.
We had one where you look at them like a rounding top, but these are kind of 50-50 more than like the 60-40. So key zone to know is the 414 is a critical support. So think of it like a rounding top. It's got that big split in it. If it was a rounding top, just without the split, it's typically a 60-40. So typically it'll test the support line, and most of the time they will bounce out and act like a bull flag. 60% of the time, 40% chance of failure. With the rounding top with a split like this, where it was a very dramatic test of that support, those tend to have more of a 50-50 chance. So watch for this next pullback to support, and if it snaps it, there you go. You get a very quick retracement of the previous trend, and that could take us down straight to the opening low, about 413. So that can happen on the split top, whereas if it was a rounding top, it's less likely to happen.
Yeah, all the market breadth indicators are pointing to continued downside for the moment. And the dollar is pushing also. Not surprising with the financials that just came out, right?
Yeah. And the dollar took a dramatic drop yesterday. I mean, it was dropping the whole time the market was rising yesterday. So a lot of that move probably hinged on the dollar. There's our support test right there.
So that was a nice call, man. That was a perfect little bounce spot right there. I mean, it was a given one, but it was an awesome. It was a good few point move, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep.
That was a 6.5, 7-pointer.
6-point move. Yep.
Throwing the breakover. Now we're accumulating a couple bars. We'll see if we get through this or not. There's a micro double bottom here, but this is one you don't trust. This is where they look like a bear flag. Let me blow this up. That's that key 414 pivot from that accumulation zone here. Breaking.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get a very quick stabby wick and then rip off and run back up in the channel. So treat this like a double bottom until it's not.
Yeah, tick falling.
My put side just went from 2 to 3. Nice. And like I said, I can lock that into a butterfly as well. No problem. We broke. There's our bear flag. Next target 1 minute 200, and then after that we could see it down to about 413, maybe even a relay down to about 412.70.
It's the 50% retracement of the trend, right, though?
Yeah. Well, it already ate through that at the 414 here.
Oh, that was the one? Yeah.
So now we look back to our diamond pattern and we adjust the angular resistance. Take it over here. So there's your angular.
I was going to reverse that whole trend.
It may not munch the whole thing. at the angular of our diamond here, so we're still in the upper channel. This is an angular resistance from the lower channel. If it breaks into here, which it just did, we print a regression line, and we build a lower channel. So there's your angular support here, which we're just about at. There's your regression line. So if we end up in the lower channel, that's where we go.
And there's that whole trend done, huh?
Yep. And this is why I bought that put spread yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a living, breathing hedge, my friend.
So we just broke out of that was like a breakout rejection off of that wedge that Bob was talking about earlier also.
Yeah. That put spread's up to 4 now. That's 100% return. I could lock, but I'm not quite in an area where I can sell the credit spread yet. Give it a minute.
It was a nice wig in the 1 minute. You ever used the 1 minute opening range? That's nothing I've ever even thought about like digging into. I mean,
Yeah.
it just, yeah.
That's what I'm doing here.
Well, I mean, it is, right? I mean, but it basically just becomes the open. I mean,
Right.
unless you have something massive, but
Well,
If you look in the stream chat, way before, see that wedge?
yeah.
let me see which one he's talking about.
Say that.
Yep. Let's look left.
Oh, yeah, but I think I'm doing the same one.
Yeah, he's looking at this accumulation here.
Oh, that little. Okay, all right. I thought when you said massive wedge, I was thinking that you were looking at a higher time frame.
Well, this
So
is
I went up to 1 hour.
this is where we got the angular for our support line for the diamond. That was that lazy
Yep.
diamond. And
Yep.
methodical, man. Did break out, and a lot of times when we get these diamonds, we'll get one of these where it rips up and then reverses and rips a face off the other way, and it comes back and tests all the angulars. Kind of a common deal.
Yeah, I can't really chart. I don't have any money for toss, so
Toss.
yeah,
What's toss? This is where I'm missing here.
it's
What do you mean
500
toss?
chart. It's
Toss.
500. Yep.
Think of Swift.
TOS.
Yeah,
TOS.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I was like, you don't know what toss is?
No, TOS. Yeah, I just,
All good.
I say to my letters. I need an acronym. I always do the letters. I just don't think about it.
I gave up
But
on
is it $500 for TOS? I thought it was for free.
no. It's free if you don't use live data.
Right. Is Weeble an option for you?
I can't stand it. I got rid of it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like a blind man without a cane here, trying to chart on Tradeovate, but
Why don't you use TradingView?
Trading View or Trade Station? Those are both good.
I have it. Well, I have TradeStation. Don't use it. Have never used it because I've learned on Tradeovate, and I think you have to pay for them too. TradingView I have, but I don't know. I have to pay for that too.
Yeah.
TradingViews. I mean, you could if you don't need if you're just trading the ES, you just need to have one chart with. You don't need a whole bunch of indicators, so you can just have the minimum account, which is like what is it, $10 a month, and the data is $5 a month. So
Yeah.
it's not a big cost. I mean, I don't mean to sound like whatever, but
Morning, guys.
Morning.
good morning.
Here we go. Off the angular.
I kind of want to really use Toss, so I guess I got to save up for it. But
Wait, see, I'm never going to be able to use TOS, so I have no idea about this. But I'm just curious because I know that lots of people use it. Why? How is TOS not free? Because everything I thought it was free.
Like, you can get
I
delayed
thought that
data
was
for
one of
free on it, but you've got to have a deposit of at least $500 before they'll give you free data for, real-time data.
Oh, so it doesn't cost you anything. It's just that you have to put the money in the account. You don't,
Right.
but you put $500 in the account. You can just leave it sitting there. You don't need to trade it. You can just, and then they'll give you the data, right?
Right. That's my gauge on it.
Okay.
And I'm leaning on Optimus, man.
Yeah, Optimus is awesome, dude. Now, for the last few days, I've been I haven't been doing much with it for the last couple of days because I had so much other stuff going on. But it's really, I'm really liking it.
Last minute, I was getting ready to leave the house. I was trying to verify my bank account with them for through Plaid, and I forgot what my password was. I'm like, crap! I don't have time to sit here and dig through my email, wait for all this bull crap to reset my password. I just had to leave. Like,
Yeah.
I'll take care of it today. I'll get it
yeah.
verified, and then we'll see how fast they can transfer money.
Let me know if you need if you want anything coded for it. Let me know. I'm doing a lot of like small stuff, just like,
Cool.
It's not like I'm. It's really pretty basic at the moment, but you can basically code anything. They give you all of the plugs. So let's say if you wanted to do, I was talking about this thing of turning like a foot lever into a buy and sell thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could do it easily with Optimus.
Isn't that C+ run or C++? Or
Yeah.
what? Okay. So that makes it
Can
a
you
little
code
easier.
hotkeys for TradingView?
Yeah, you can, but you can't code everything. So it'll like if it has, it's a little bit buggy, and I don't know if I mean it's good. I mean if you just code two simple keys, F and G, buy and sell, market, all in, all out. That's all you really need. But the thing is that if you want to do anything, if you want to do something more advanced, it's a little bit buggy.
Rutrow. We might be queuing up a bear measured move down to 412.
Because I've been searching on YouTube and I haven't seen anybody create or code a hotkeys for TradingView.
You don't have to code. I mean, you don't need to code them, man. I mean, it's like they have hotkeys that are built in. I just don't. You can't do much with them. I mean, well, you can shoot away a buy and sell a market order. I think you could probably.
That's all I would want.
Yeah. If that's all you want, then that's definitely do it. Let me see. I have that someplace. Wait.
We're accumulating here for a possible bearish measured move. Be aware. That would be.
I'm waiting.
That'd be a blast.
I'm waiting.
Could hit the 412 pivot. Might even push down a little further down to the bottom of that channel. Hell, it could go all the way to the next liquidity zone. Give this a few more 5-second bars and we should have an answer. What time is it?
If you, Ricardo, I was posting earlier that you could put the DOM in there. The thing which is cool with having the DOM in that far right side is that you can actually you can trade just with a click. You can trade with your mouse without like having to push a button. You can just click in the DOM and place the trades, which is
I've tried using the DOM and it's not easy, man.
Yeah, no, it takes time. I'm not good at it either. I've tried to use it a few times also. It's one of those things that I keep saying to myself when I try to get into it, and then I just never get around to it.
You can watch SPY and then trade just the DOM, but you've got to get your you got to get that conversion range in place. So you got to figure out where on the DOM your SPY chart is going to line up with price. It's weird. So you got to have a futures chart of some kind that you can refer to do that. But damn,
but you have. Yeah.
There it goes.
They have it just as like an extra. if you connect it to Tradeovate, if you connect TradingView to Tradeovate, which is like $10 a month or 15 maybe, you can get you can take the level 2 data from them,
Okay.
which is an additional. Oh, I can't remember what the level 2 data is. I think it was maybe $15 a month, but you can pull it into TradingView, so you have it like you have the chart, real-time data, and you have the DOM on the side.
Nice.
I trade on the DOM, but I'm only in it for like, 20, 30, 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're quick scalping pretty quick.
Yeah.
Moves now. And you don't have the same problem as Bud then, that you notice that your winners don't cover your losses basically. Like your losing trades aren't bigger than your winners at least. You're still doing a 2-to-1
Oh,
or risk
I've
reward.
got this thing where as soon as the money goes red, I cut out.
Oh, so you have like a 0 stop loss. You have you just,
I am my own stop loss. I am my own stop loss.
It's at its
Yeah.
base. That's actually pretty brilliant. All right, so here comes our quick. This was our support break here, and this is where it tests it for resistance. If this continues to run down, it's got to break that area and then finish that move. But this is regression line on our lower channel as well from our diamond. So we're kicking off that sucker pretty strong. We just broke through it here on the 5-second chart. Retest target would be right here at 413.05. About the next bar here. I could stripe pivots all day long on a 5-second chart with this. Make my chart look nasty.
get it nasty. Make it nasty, Jeremy.
We're in a range now. Give us 2 consolidation bars and we'll have a quick decision on this, whether this will flop over and run for 412 or if it's going to hold here. Might get a quick 8-pointer out of this on the break if you're careful. There it goes. Timber, don't. Ah, damn it, gave us a wick. That's risky.
I think we're right back to the 4-hour open candle.
Oh, it's going to range here, isn't it?
Right back in the day, red.
It's a little bear trap. Hang on. It'll give us a signal. Give it a couple more bars. There we go. Finally. All we gotta do is break 412.40 and we'll hit that 412 real quick. That'll be a nice quick scalp.
I mean, now that we're below the open, don't you think retracement of yesterday, 50% of yesterday's range, or at least 20% of yesterday's range, would be like an expectation that we could have?
We could go back to the top of our liquidity zone here for now. The other scenario, let me turn off my dope for a moment, is look at this like an M top, but look at it like a blow off top as well. So we could, in theory, get rejected
Retrace
like
all of
hell here
yesterday's
and just
move.
rip this whole trend. Not in one day, but we could eat a lot of that. And it's like, oof. That could be a very strong M top with the blow off top is where it gets that last push up to the next liquidity and just gets its face ripped off. So like you got a lot of analysts talking bullish about all the banks and the big banks and stuff, but the regional banks are going to weigh on them. So it's like, And then you got this recession talk. You know, you got so many things just kind of playing hell with the market right now. Well, when you hear a bunch of analysts talking bull things when the market is at a key point for resistance, be afraid because they're usually trying to sell into liquidity. And here they go. They're doing exactly that. At least on the short term. We're going to probably get a 1-for-1 right to the liquidity zone down here around 411. But watch this key support area here. This little funky green line is part of a gap. And it's from here to here. And that was on a daily chart way back in that descending trend. Right back here. it wasn't daily, it's 2 hour. Good Lord.
We also have the gap from yesterday
Miles
still,
back.
which is we have a gap from yesterday, which has never got closed on SPX.
Right. Where's that chart? There we go. So, I mean, this would be one hell of an area to give us a blow off top. And then we have angulars in play too. So, like, if you look at this as one big expanding channel, this is where you could get that diamond top effect here. So, you got an angular down here, you got an angular going up this way, an angular off of here, print your regression lines. It gives you the whole shebang. So, this has the makings of a blow off top to be bearish for a while. But it's also at a very key pivot leading all the way back to this trend here, back in 2021. So about where was that marked? About 412, I think, is that key pivot. So it's like here we had resistance here. It's been tagged here, here, and today. All right, your 8 points done. Next, we're accumulating. We can finish a leg and run for another 10 points. So we've got basically half of this leg done as a measured move down. Now we're accumulating one more time. We'll get a break here. We'll get another 8-pointer out of it. And just like I did up here, there's your previous support. It'll get tested for resistance. Your channel mean is right here. And give us a couple bars to snap that, and we'll continue with our 8-pointer. Nice. So when I locked in that butterfly on the call side, I could buy back the credit spread for one, or I could wait a little while and just buy the short legs out of that spread and leave all the longs together. And if we rebound at any time, I can go and sell those short legs again and capture even more profit in the same butterfly. So it's like when you're trading options on SPY, in order to maximize efficiency, start with a spread, and you can, instead of just opening and closing that spread, you can go and adjust that position and just have a rolling profit machine until it runs out of gas or time. Typically, I will probably trade that because it expires on Tuesday next week. I will probably finish that position today. If I can convert it back into a butterfly, I'll leave it be. I'll let it roll, because if it's at the butterfly body on Tuesday, it makes incredible profit. In the meantime, I've already locked in a bunch of profit on it. So if I can walk it back and forth, why the hell not keep milking that cow until it dies? There's really no chance of loss on that situation. I've already made profit on it. And the idea is, if I can continually adjust it and then leave it alone when it gets down to the last day, and I've got a shot at making a huge profit on negative risk, because I've already captured lots of profit in it. And then the other side of this equation is I can go and take my put side and convert that as well right now. Or I can wait till this finishes a measured move back to liquidity. Well, that liquidity, 411, if my strike is down at the bottom of that zone, sorry, the next zone, down in here, I'm at like 402 and 400. I can go and make a killing on that spread, just either converting it, or I can walk in and out of it, or I can just let the sucker ride the trend. We're not sure what we're going to get today, so we're going to see what we end up with after this channel. But in the meantime, I've got expiration till Tuesday on that, so I'll wait and see if we tap here. At least if it taps here, I know I can lock in a net profit on that position just doing a straight butterfly conversion. In the meantime, I'm going to wait and see what shakes out. If not, it's there as a hedge for the rest of the long position too. So like if I have the ability to buy back the short legs on that butterfly, thus converting it into just two different long legs, if they start to lose value, this put spread's going to hedge those. Whereas if I leave it all alone, I've already locked in profit. I still have a put spread hedge on to where I can lock that into a butterfly on the other side. So at some point I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I want to adjust my long side or leave it alone? And then at the same time I got the other side of the decision. Do I want to adjust my put side or leave it alone? So when it comes to trading options on SPY, the most efficient thing to do is to be able to constantly be able to adjust that position. And starting with a spread gives you that opportunity. You're not racing the clock on time decay. You're actually letting it work for you. The more volatile, the better.
It is trending up here as is all the market breadth indicators.
And we
And the
got a
dollar is taking a pause also.
little double bottom there. Yep. Boom. All right. So we didn't get the full 8 point, but we did trade from one pivot to the other. We've got almost a measured move. There's still a little unfinished business down to angular here, but doesn't mean it has to go there. Short term, we've got a 1-for-1 here. There's 1 and 1.
I'm thinking like it looks like a long trade here might not be.
Might not be a bad idea. Wait for the break.
No.
So here's our resistance for that break right here. We're at it. There we go. We're running. Another thing to note, remember that gap. That's that funky green line down here. Every candle wicked exactly to that damn thing. That is a really old line. It goes way back. All right, we've got a bar through the regression line. We've got a pretty good shot at going for angular resistance where it converges with previous angular resistance. So you got this was support, this was resistance, and they converge right about where price is going to meet if this continues to run back up. Also, if this is your 1-for-1, 50% retracement line's right up with it. So we've got a pretty good shot of at least hitting that, and that target happens to be about 412.90.
What is that? How many points is that away?
3 from here.
Was that like 7 points? 3 from here. Yeah.
Total from the base, it was 7.
Oh.
Damn, I'm getting a Busby.
Ooh.
Evening Star. Watch for a 3-bar trade here.
Dollar broke out. Dollar broke higher.
JPM's tightening into a flag. And got a weak looking double bottom off TFC here, but it's not quite getting through resistance yet.
What time frames do you guys look at the Russell and the dollar and all that? The Dow?
I look at 4 time frames usually. 1 hour, 15, 5, and 1.
And I don't tend to trade the Russell Index. I usually will do it with the ETF though.
Ooh.
And
But just
remember-
keep an eye on it. I mean,
Yeah, it's good to keep an eye on. And remember, I've got that very critical support area at 168. That's still on the table.
but even if you have the chart open and you're just keeping an eye on it, what time frame would you be using?
Probably the 5-minute
5 minute?
for me.
I use the 1. If I'm looking at all 4, I use the 1 minute.
Damn.
5 minutes slow, man. 5
Yeah.
minutes feels like
Well, I'm looking at the range. So I'm looking at the range bars. We got 1, 2 legs down. It's made a full bearish measured move. It's kind of accumulating here. It can go for a 2 for 1 and push down to like 176.70 for IWM. This is interesting with SPY here. That's going to complete that business. Going to 412.
Yep.
We broke that critical pivot. That's that gap zone.
Yeah, 888. Like, there's no market participation right now. There's nobody like wanting to buy anything. Everybody looks like they're just saying, I'm not getting it.
412 and a penny here with that wick. Ooh, some brutal trials. This takes a lot of brain power.
What's happening? The sectors are,
Whoa.
speaking for a bullish move now, is the sectors are all kind of like coming up off of a bottom.
Double bottom. Broke R1.
NASDAQ not.
Target 1 nailed. We're about to reject the 200 period once. There we're testing support. Let's see what we get.
NASDAQ's not participating.
One for one down. We're back to support at R1. And that's starting to look like a big old tweezer on a 1 minute chart. Russell breaking down. JPM's kind of hanging on the end of that flag. Financials will make or break this move. And that flag on JPM that you see right there, 60-40 rule all the way.
Wait, explain that. How are you thinking on that one?
Any bull flag, 60-40.
Yeah, 60-40 breaks the upside.
Yep. It favors the upside, but it can fail.
Yep.
And that would give us a 1 for 1 on this trend, which would send us upper third of that liquidity zone, around 140 to 141. We're still playing with that gap zone. That's so neat. That thing is ancient, dude.
Russell's putting in a new one. Oh, sorry, man. What's it again, please?
That gap zone. I think I plotted it on the 4-hour chart, maybe. Let me pull that up. I gotta know where that came from. I should make notes, but I never do.
I keep trying to color code. Like when I do things on different time frames, I want to color code them, but then I just end up like
There it is.
messing it up. Like
This gap.
yeah.
From 822 or 819 to 822 over a weekend. Quite the gap, and I want to say it hit us
we're heading
again
down.
too.
Yeah.
It was from way
Russell's
back.
putting in new lows.
Damn, I'm gonna have to reset chart again.
Mm.
There we go. We're just playing in that area. It's refusing to break it so far. We just got a 3-bar. There's your Busby. 3-bar up. Bam, that target's met. That's the leg right to this pivot. Boom, 412.35, done. Aha. What do we
There
get?
we go.
Tweezer bottom. Give this a minute. Let that close. It's got 4 seconds on that candle. The next candle is the one you want to see for a signal on the 1 minute chart.
Wait, how are you counting that, man? How are you thinking on that for the signal? Retest and then it's gonna go. No.
We want to make sure that we either close above or below this doji.
Yeah.
Got about 35 seconds on that candle. If it prints a second evening star, we'll just wait for the next 3-bar to play out and see where we go. But so far, we're looking good. The target will be about 412.90 on that push if it breaks out. Give you a quick 5 or 6 pointer. Don't jump in on the gun on that though. Be very cautious. There we go. Printed a doji on top. Think of that as a bar spinner bar setup. So you got bar, spinner, bar, your measured move. 412.80 first with possible wick to 412.90, which is angular resistance up here. And you should see a possible accumulation or pause right here at 412.66. And that's just thinking of this as L1, L2, R1. And then target extension here. First 412.80, second 412.90. So pause right off of this guy. Let me draw a segment line off of that. Typical double bottom stuff. Boom, there's your pause. Barred right to it. Cool, we're starting to see some more reliable patterns here, so this is good. This might give us a quick 20 or 30 minutes of trading time.
Yeah.
And for me, it's adjustment time until I'm in futures again. That's coming. I'm getting there. Oof. Man, I've got.
What else we got? We got some serious. This is kind of like a risky moment, huh?
Yeah, that might print a tweezer here. That'd be a bad spot for one. 10 seconds left on that candle.
What are we getting everyone else?
Testing the mean. Watch the 8 period here on a 1 minute chart. I've got too many options positions to unwind. Realizing I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 options positions open right now.
Holy shit, man. Oh, excuse me.
It's insane.
There's no volume supporting this run right now.
No, it's tweezered over. We're going back to
Yeah.
L1 support, about 412.25. It can test and bounce out of that, but it's kind of it's got to follow through with like a IHS or something right along that gap line. That's at 412.15.
It's financials and industrials were trying to pull us up for that, and tech just didn't want to participate.
Yeah. Oh, real estate's getting crumbled right now too.
Yeah. Oh, there it goes. Oh,
Yeah.
nasty.
Right to the angular. Timber!
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I thought that was going to base out. That's not going to base out.
Nope.
So what's the next target? The downside?
Angular support right down here about 411.75.
Yeah.
And then if it breaks that, that breaks the diamond channel, we go to liquidity next. And there's liquidity down here about 411.20. Damn, that's some volatile crap, dude.
Yeah, man. You don't think? I think this. No, I don't know.
A to B
Does
is
it do a measure move after that?
edge of liquidity to edge of liquidity. Supply zone, demand zone. And diamond pattern gives you an angular, so there's your trend pause right at that level, thereabout. Wait right to that angular. My number was off, but the angular's right on, 411.80. And IWM's printing lower.
Yeah. It's just pushing, man.
And that JPM flag's threatening.
Break, huh?
Well, just kind of look at the SPY as this is the channel. That's the descending channel off the diamond. So there's support. There's a tweezer. Let that candle close. We could get another move through regression to the first resistance zone and possibly to the angular. So the 5-second chart will give you some quick signals on that. This is your quick 1-for-1. Retracement's been made on that right there. Zoom out a little bit more. We'll get a fan line in here in a moment. This is expanding range. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's too steep for a wolf wave, but we can lay a fan on it. Let's go from here to here. And then the other side would be... What the hell just happened?
I don't know, man.
I clicked on
It
the
looked
chart.
like your
and it
line
disappeared.
jumped.
It
Yeah,
either jumped or disappeared.
yeah.
Yeah, it definitely just disappeared.
Okay.
Crazy. Keep it. Thank you. The other line
Nope.
goes through.
Did it again.
What the hell? I got too many lines on it.
Yeah.
It's out of RAM. There's a lot of dope there, though.
Oh yeah.
You're lined out.
I'm lined out. All right, let me clear all these pivots off and see if it'll give us some room to mess with some charting. From here, we can switch from pivot mode to fan line mode.
I've never seen that happen.
It's been doing this lately, and ever since the last update, it's like it runs out of the cache limit or whatever for the amount of drawing you can put on a chart, which is just silly.
That's your PC saying chart nasty.
Well, I mean,
Oh yeah.
if I look at my PC performance, I mean, I've got freaking memory for days on this thing. And I'm only hitting about 13% of my 32 gigabyte RAM. Plenty of headspace. I don't understand why it's cut me off on that. It's got to be the cache limit in the software.
Yeah.
All right,
You
let's
can
see
do
if
that with if you run the command line. Ah, man, I sent that to Ricardo yesterday. How do you you can empty the cache on the software side. That'll get rid of all your drawings.
I can do
But
that. I can go and
it might-
delete all my drawings. Look at this. It just keeps turning it into horizontal right here.
No, I mean, like you could empty the whole cache. Just to, like empty the. You don't know what it's like lingering in the cache, which
Oh,
isn't the
right.
drawings. It might be like full of junk or something like this.
Yeah, it could be. I might have to go use single grid and hit the delete button on Spy's dope. That will get rid of
Yeah.
all of this too, so it won't just do the 5-second chart. It'll do everything. I don't want to do that right now because I've got too many lines that matter.
No.
I'll do it tonight. I'll wait. It's a Friday. We can clear it out.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I need to set up the YouTube stream for next week.
There we go. Quick 5-second 1-for-1. Target met. We've got general range expansion happening here. And I was trying to mark it out with a couple fan lines for targets, but just use your eyeballs. Imagine this as the left half of a diamond. So we're at the final wave. We're at the third wave where the center of the diamond would be, right about here. So if this comes back into this range, we'll know exactly what we're looking at. And then we can pick it off on a 1-minute chart the same way. That's expansion. It's a megaphone pattern at the bottom of a trend. Typically, they'll shoot for a quick breakout of a 1-for-1 from regression, and that happens to put us right on the angular from our bigger diamond from the pre-market, right? So a 1-for-1 regression push off of this descending megaphone in the regression line of our lower channel would stick us at a target of about 413. So watch for this break, and if it gives us a quick 1-for-1, same same scenario, puts us at a 113 target. So you can get there both ways. All you gotta do is know where there's range expansion, and when you see it in a channel like this, the probability kind of goes up a little bit. All right, we got our bar. There's your spinner. The potential is either we'll get a bar with a 1-for-1, or we'll get a pull back to the regression. 5-second chart's going to tell us all about it. Here's your 1-for-1 done. The breakout will happen on this accumulation. Either we break resistance here and run for it, or we break down and retrace. JPM gave us the speed bump on the end of that flag, and now we're getting into trend mode where we can break resistance. We're right on top of it. So if this is going to break out and push, it'll take SPY with it. And there's our retracement.
Nice.
And this is where SIG's play would come in. This is a true Busby. Here's your short-term trend. The Busby almost always gives you a 3-bar where you can get a retracement back to just under the 3rd bar in the evening star pattern for a quick scalp target of about 412.68. And just watch this. You can watch your 5-second for a push the same way. And if this Busby is going to continue to trend, it'll still give us our 1-for-1 outside up to that 413 level if it continues. If it can't run that, it'll fail and break over. And typically it's going to be a fail at half bar or fail at full bar from this bar here. All right, I'm pulling off my options as quick as I can here. I got a lot of them.
That's a lot of positions, man. 16 positions is a bit crazy to be holding on to days like this.
Just a lot
Actually,
of swing
right.
trades. Some of them
Yeah.
are wheels though, so those I'll keep on, but most of them are just quick swing trades, spreads. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I've also got a condor on Tesla that I'm gonna hold on to that. That's 2 legs.
How's that going? It's going with that. It's going good, right?
It's holding its neutral zone, so it's like it's holding its value enough to where I'm not worried about it. All it needs to do is move one way or the other.
Yep.
All right, so it was a full bar fail. There's your wick. And every time I see this, I'm going to make an example out of this. Every time I see these evening stars like this where you get this test down to about the 20 or the 8 period, they give you a very snappy day trade, like quick. Right off the support, you trade from this candle's close back up to just under its open. And it's almost to the penny of under its open. This wick goes right to it. So very, very rapid trade, but you have to recognize this first, and that's your target. First, you also look at half the bar, and that's where the body stopped here. So you can get this with a limit order very quick, but if you're not exactly to a couple pennies under the top of the open of this bar, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot trying to chase a limit order with that. So it's ideal to trade this with a market order, and that's what you're seeing here with that wick. Everybody took profit on that rebound so fast. So if you're not as quick as they are or quicker than they are, you're going to get to be the guy holding the bag. You'll at least get your order to fill right at the half bar, so it's still a worthy trade. I mean, you get a very quick, what was that, about almost a 2-pointer out of that, right? So the 3-point would have been on the top of the wick. The 2-point gives you about half that bar, but you got to be fast to snap a market order at the bottom and the top. All right.
This is turning into a giant tweezer on the 1 hour, huh? On
Yeah, I bet it
on
is.
everything.
And we're getting the rest of our diamond. That's the top center of the diamond. That means the angular will start here. And if we hold 411.92, 93. We could see angular support start to form here on this channel. Otherwise, our other diamond already sets us up for a possible push to the bottom of the channel. So if this, then that. We broke angular right here. And we're pushing to the bottom of the channel right there, 411.80. 411.79 on the penny. Can we get a 1 for back to regression, or at least to the gap line? That's a little risky here. We've made 3 taps on angular from this megaphone pattern here at a key zone. Liquidity's right here. If we get a 1 for 1 outside of this channel from regression to base, it'll stick us right on that liquidity zone, about 411.20. Looking like it's setting up for it, but give it a couple bars to close before we make that decision. JPM flag got the pop at the end, broke resistance, rejected after a support test, and now we're heading back down. So this kind of is looking likely to run that 1 for 1 outside the channel down to liquidity. Just watch for any sign of an accumulation or a pause for a retrace. That can happen too.
All right, I hear my kids starting to get wacky. I need
Yeah.
to go make sure. I need to, or I should say, I need to go throw one of them out the window or something. I'm gonna go snoop their ups now. If I don't
Nice.
speak to you again, man, have a great weekend. All right.
You too, man. Yeah, I'm probably going to break off about 11 or after this trade plays out anyway.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Call it.
Choppy day. Hard day to. I thought it was going to reverse there, but I still feel like it's supposed to be basing out, but it's probably not. It's probably just going to run. But you know.
It's looking more likely to give us that 1 for 1 outside the channel down to liquidity, but
Yeah. Yep.
it's anybody's guess
Yep.
for the next couple bars.
Yeah. All right, man. Cheers.
You too, man. See you around.
See you.
Yeah.
Have a good weekend, Kaz.
Let me zoom out.
Nice, dude.
The other
I
part
also
of
got to
this,
take off, guys.
yeah, man.
Have a good weekend and all the best.
You too. All the best, man.
You too. All the best, man.
See you, Ricardo.
Take care.
Business would give us this as leg 1. Accumulation here. We've broken support. A 1 for 1 on this to the bear side would take us kind of in the upper quadrant of this liquidity zone that's down below, and can send us to about 410. So if this gives us a full business 1 for 1, that's where it would go. For now, we've got the short term looking at a test of that top of that liquidity zone already. So either this or that is in play. At the same time, respect this diamond because it gives us an angular support here. We're teasing it. There's 1 and 2. So it can hold in this channel and play this out for all day long running before it tests that liquidity.
Have you noticed though that what Sig was saying is pretty much spot on?
Being within the ADRs.
Yeah, the Fibonacci retracement as well.
Yeah, that too. It makes sense. It just kind of gives you 2 very dynamically different ways to get to the same conclusion.
It's confirmation. It's just more confirmation, isn't it?
Exactly. When you get multiple ways that analysts apply to their trading, and they all seem to converge to the same outcome, the more analysts you have that are diversified from each other, coming up with the same conclusion, the higher the probability of that trade playing out will be. And Sig and I are completely different animals on this. Like, I'm strictly technicals and price action. He goes and does a combination of just about everything. And it's funny. Sometimes we'll disagree. And I don't know what the score would be, and I don't keep score on who's right higher percentage of the time. But sometimes we'll contradict each other. And when that happens, you get actually great trading, because usually when we contradict each other, you get the best volatility. Like yesterday, we contradicted just a little bit. Not expecting a full-on trend day like that, but getting not just a 2-for-1 trend day that we mapped out, or a 1-for-1 trend day that we mapped out, but a 2-for-1. So, I mean, we were a little contradicted, but one followed through with the other, and then with yesterday's information, it gave us today's. Man,
So, you know, when you trade on the 5-second and the 10-second chart, effectively what you're doing there is you're giving yourself a little tiny heads up.
Yep. Essentially it. Just kind of knowing where that 1-minute chart is and what the longer term setup is gives me everything I need to know about scalping 1-for-1s all day long on that 5-second chart. 1-for-1.
I can't,
1-for-1.
I can't believe I haven't thought about this before. That makes perfect sense. Of course it does.
It's always going to be a easy 1-for-1 on a 5-second chart. It's methodically easy. Like you can spot them all day long. You just trade one for another, boom, boom, boom. Until you get a range break on the 1-minute chart, you keep trading those 1-for-1s. And those little
When you
base
say
hits.
when you say 1-for-1, say it's at the top of a range, you know it's going to go down to the bottom of the range by the same measured move, yeah?
Right, exactly.
Right.
And it's just spotting the measured moves. Like here's one leg, accumulate, leg, top of range. You get a pullback. That was quick. 1-for-1, down, back to support. Then you get a bounce. 1-for-1, back up to resistance. And then you get another one. Leg, accumulate, leg. 1-for-1 down. Same thing in reverse. You get 1-for-1 here, and then you get an extension here, 2-for-1.
I can see it, yeah.
Like every time you see an accumulation, you can make a quick decision trade, and then verifying those 1-minute bars really helps you. Like this little quick 1-for-1 back on that 3-bar, that was easy. You know, if you go and synchronize the pointers, let me see if I can do that without goofing myself. I can go back to this right in here. There's your first bar. There's your doji. There's your third bar pulled back, and the 1-for-1 back was right off that to the penny. So you can see it all play out on a 5-second chart.
Yeah,
So
I
like
can
when
see
you
it, yeah. And then
when you see this,
you can tell it, yeah.
gives you a very high probability trade, and then when you see it act on that 5-second chart to verify exact signals of when to get in and when to get out, it is so easy to scalp that.
I need to, so you're using TradingView, aren't you?
This one here is Webull, actually.
Oh,
It's been Webull for me. It's Webull because it's cheap. Well, it's free. It's up to the very second. I think there's like half a second difference between this and TradingView's premium service, realistically, from what I've seen. And when you're trading a 5-second chart, it's good enough.
yeah, I know, I can see that. You know, if 5-second, 1 second, split seconds, you start to get to the point where if you're trading on that 1-minute chart, it doesn't really matter whether it's 1 second or 5 second, you know?
Right. Because you're just using this mostly if you're trading the 1-minute chart, you're using this to confirm your signals. And if you're trading the 5-second chart, you're using the 1-minute chart to confirm your setups. So it's just, you can trade one or the other or both.
You could do this with any time scale, though. You could use the 1-minute chart to set as a setup for the 5-minute chart, and the 5-minute chart as a setup for the
15
30-minute chart.
or 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way. Yep, you can use one time frame to trade the other, and that's the whole point of getting these scalps is literally using one time frame to either verify or signal the other. All right, so this is going to grind the bottom of that channel, man. It might take half a day to get to liquidity zone, but I'm really expecting it to at least test this liquidity zone once today. And if it breaks into it, that put debit spread side I have against my my butterfly on the top side, we'll start to do the same thing with it. We'll lock in, can't lose profit, and adjust it as it comes. So whether you're day trading futures with us or learning how to work some very intricate options positions like this, we've got you covered. And man, if you can make it that easily on trading SPY options, you're almost built for trading futures. So price action is awesome. It has been my best friend from day one. All right, back to Angular support. I'm going to hang for just another minute, but I've got a bunch of errands to run today to prepare for next week. So I'll probably call it off in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the gym. And another thing is I'm going to start just trading that couple of hours in the morning. There's no need for me to sit here all day and get into stupid trades either, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's all you need. I mean, make your point of trading the volatility in the morning, and then just like I always say, go eat your lunch before the market eats it for you.
Yes, I might cut out actually because I got to go to the gym and things.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
try and
might-
get my
I'm cutting it.
I'm gonna try and get my bike ride in before this thunderstorm hits. It's coming in about 11:30, I think. So I've got a very short bike ride.
Yeah, happy Friday, y'all. I'll see you all on Monday.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
We'll see you guys on Monday, and I think that's a good time for me to sign off. I'll leave my charts running on Discord for everybody, so if I come back in the house through the day, I can kind of at least let you see what I'm thinking. Drawing all over my chart, making it nasty. And if I come up with a trade idea, of course I'll post a alert in the chat or something to that effect where I can get you guys' attention and let you know, hey, this is setting up. Let's do this.
Jeremy, do you hear me?
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get your attention for about 3 hours now. Goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah, I had to get out and get back in. Goodness. I'm with Victoria. I was wanting to know about that 1-to-1. I'd like to go over that with you some other time. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
We can do that later. Listen, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll get back with you later on that one.
Yeah, you too. And I think I want to do a instructional video on that, but it would actually be great if I had a couple of you guys asking all the right questions on it. It helps me get the information out. So
Count me in. Just let me know where you want to do it, Jeremy. I got lots of questions here.
Yeah, same here. And thank you, Victoria, for reaching out, because that's what I was trying to get to. What does that mean by 1-to-1?
Right.
Move there. And that was a great explanation, but I only caught it kind of toward the end of it. So
Right.
I'd love to revisit that sometime. Okay.
Absolutely. No, I'm 100% for that. And like I said, I want to make a solid video we can record and have for reference at any time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Very cool. I like the idea, and I think we can get on that next week. Just record it, and then we'll make it a thing.
Yeah, sounds great. Everyone have a great weekend.
You too. And
Okay, y'all. Bye.
like I said, this is that time of day. I'm gonna get away from the market before it eats my lunch. I'll adjust my swing trades as I need to, but all my day trading is done and done well. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Try not to get in too much trouble, but do enjoy getting into trouble. See you guys.